Okay, question number 2. How should the City Council assess the impact of proposed entertainment uses upon residential amenity, health and safety, local environmental quality and character, and function of the area?
That's a very locally government-worded question. I actually don't like it at all. I think in plain English what we're asking you is, do you believe that we adopt the right sort of policies and the right pragmatic approach when looking in planning terms at how restaurants, bars, theatres gel with the residential surroundings, or are we being far too restrictive in our approach?
I think as well, are there things that have come forward that haven't been properly controlled through the planning process that you feel should have been controlled when these uses have come forward? We got it about right.
Miss Bennett.
Oh, fine, thank you. Really, the smoking ban has, again, talking from Soho within the stress area or the main stress area, the smoking ban has a real problematic impact for entirely innocent reasons. I mean, people are don't perhaps think or notice the impact, but because people are now, one person in the group wants a cigarette, everybody goes outside with them, they carry on talking outside unless it's absolutely pouring the rain or freezing. There's a lot more activity on the street. And so in assessing impacts, one can just look in terms of the inside activity, but I think that it is important to think about the impact as a result of the smoking ban, which will mean that in every premises that's open late in the evening, there will be people outside it. So it's just perhaps taking proper account of that, and it shouldn't necessarily, it seems to me, mean that such places shouldn't, in planning terms, get a use if they comply with the policies. But I think it is an impact which needs to be given due and proper weight.
Okay, thank you.
Amanda Squires, Royal Albert Hall. Speaking on behalf of the Hall, we would favour any approach that gives a really balanced view that definitely balances the needs and the requirements of residential neighbours, of whom we've got many, and as well looks at the kind of important cultural and tourist and entertainment value of various proposals that happen. So anything that promotes a balanced approach for both sides and promotes harmony is what we're interested in.
Okay, thank you.
Do you think there's anything more we can do in planning terms? Because I believe actually planning and licensing are very useful social tools to encourage the entertainment trade, and I particularly think of venues such as your own. Is there anything that we do as a local authority which you think inhibits the growth of your business in times like these particularly?
I would say I probably couldn't answer that question honestly. What I would say is that we probably fear potentially even suggesting things just in case, it would be knocked out of court. But a venue such as ours, it's very important to us that we get on well with our neighbours, whether they're commercial or residential. But sometimes I think we feel that maybe the response is likely to be so conservative we don't actually ask, which could potentially mean that we're missing big opportunities and things that would really help the Kensington area.
Thank you. The gentleman over there.
William Difford, Delphort Mackintosh Theatres. One of the, not wishing to skirt round it too much, but the balance is a difficult one for us. At times when we have get-ins and get-outs of the theatre, we end up having conflict with our neighbours, residential neighbours, because they don't really want it to happen at all, full stop. And one of our concerns is that sometimes that seems to be taken more into account than the fact that if we don't get in and get out the production, there will be no show, there will be no one involved, there will be no production, and I don't need to go on. That's the point I'm making. So I don't know how you evaluate the balance, but I think sometimes, from our experience, it's weighted the wrong way.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Liz Frimston from the Victoria Interchange Group, which is residents of central Victoria, basically. I think that a lot of issues have been raised, and my concern is this word balance. What does that mean? It means a choice very often between yes or no. It will disadvantage one side or the other. And as a resident who's been involved in planning issues for some time, I think where Westminster could make a lot more progress is if it had certain background policies that would make it clearer for you and for us. For example, we have argued for and need a stronger lighting code. Light pollution is a huge issue for residents. Some authorities, not so urban, have things like high brightness areas. But Westminster doesn't think in those concepts. It makes it clear where, there will be more light pollution in some areas than others. That's one suggestion, that we look at light. The other thing is the pub, the low-level kind of venue, which we all love and adore, and the impact of the no smoking ban, which is huge for residents. And I would suggest that the council, if it hasn't already done so, take a look at wrapping round certain good housekeeping policies around these venues, because one other thing that upsets residents is the trash that you get as a result of the no smoking ban, and I am a smoker, by the way. And your pavements are filled with ash and all the rest of it. So we're really, I think, in a way, asking people who own these venues to take some responsibility, good housekeeping responsibility, for what happens in the immediate environs of their premises. And I think that would be very helpful. So there are probably some other suggestions that residential groups would have about background policies which make it clear what the rules are in any situation, because I think it's difficult for planning applicants as well, because there's so much given the system that they don't know where they're going, and until residents actually come in and make very strong representations, you're probably led in a particular direction which isn't particularly helpful to you or indeed to us. And we'd like to have more policies which avoid some of those obvious conflicts, and I think it's